webcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome to our webinar, Getting Started with Virtual Tape Backups for IBM. My name is Axe Signer, Vice President of Solutions here at Electronic Storage Corporation. We are located in Tulsa, Oklahoma, have been in business for over 30 years. Here in our Tulsa office, we have our own programming staff, as well as our own customer service and technical support staff. We are an IBM registered business partner and a Microsoft certified partner. So today's webcast, we're going to identify current issues with your backup and recovery, how to replace physical tape and tape libraries with virtual, and reduce the complexity of backup and recovery functions, how to remotely manage your backups without being on site with your IBM server, benefits of incorporating deduplication of your backups and replication, and improving your ability to recover from disaster or cyber attack. So identifying current backup and recovery issues, typically the number one when dealing with physical tape for backups is that backups take too long to run and complete. Backups can tie up business operations if they are taking too long, going past the backup window that's required. Other priorities can get in the way from dealing with issues and using physical tapes. Reducing personnel time necessary to manage and oversee backup operations, and much of that is dealing with tapes, physical tapes, whether you're having to move them off site, go and recover them to do restores. So you need to ensure that backups are complete. Recovery of data is too slow, especially with tapes being off-site that you keep for disaster recovery. Anytime something you need to restore, you've got to go get the tape. Easier way to archive and purge data. This can be important when dealing with tapes that you have to keep around for a long period of time, which are backups, typically yearly backups or quarterly backups. Incorporate a deduplication appliance. We'll talk more about that as we go along with this webinar. Replicate data to cloud. So this is becoming a great way to replicate your backups for disaster recovery, extra data protection. Maybe your current solution, your current VTL solution has become too expensive and maintenance costs. You need to strengthen your disaster recovery protection. So being that this automatically can do that, when you are able to, with a virtual tape solution you're saving to disk, you're able to replicate those backups. So you'll have two copies, and we'll talk more about that. Faster recovery in the case of ransomware attacks. So certainly being able to simply just go to any virtual tape and do a restore. With a virtual tape library that we're going to talk about today is you're going to have an unlimited, basically you could have all of your tapes available online to restore anytime that you need them. So replacing physical tape and tape libraries with virtual, the great thing about a virtual solution is that it's just like using physical tape on the IBM side. And that's important because basically all of the save commands are designed to use tape, and that includes a full system save, a save sys. Any of the other IBM save commands that you use with physical tape can also be used with a virtual tape solution. So this makes migrating over to virtual tape very, very simple because your backup process does not change compared to physical tape. So what can you do with virtual tape is you can reduce the complexity of backup and recovery functions. So the way that a virtual tape solution functions with IBM is that the virtual tape is going to connect via fiber channel to the IBM or SAS, just like physical tape. You have the ability to use option 21 for restricted state full system saves. Now, probably the number one thing about virtual tape is it's so much faster to back up data as compared to tape. And our solution actually has a function in which we multi-thread the backup procedure. Now, that's not really the same as using, say, parallel saves or two tape devices to do your backups, but this does speed up your backups up to twice as fast as tape. So all your tapes are available, virtually unlimited tape library. So our particular VTL solution actually allows you to create up to 16,000 slots for your virtual tapes. So that's really an unlimited number of slots, and you can set up this solution with the number of tapes that you want for your rotations, your dailies, weeklies, monthlies. You can always increase that number of slots to add more tapes. If you're using BRMS or Robot Save, great, because this works exactly like those products work with a physical tape library, works exactly the same with a virtual tape library. Archiving and purging. So we're going to talk about and show a little bit on our product how you can do and manage those backups in an automated function of retaining the backups that you need on disk, replicating backups, purging backups that are expired, things like that. And then manage your backups remotely from anywhere. So you no longer need to be on site. And the primarily thing is that even if it's just going to change out tapes, that takes time, costs money. When you're not having to deal with physical tapes, then everything can be done remotely because you're not dealing with those and changing those out. So integrating your virtual tape solution with your current operations, again, is very simple because it connects the same as physical tape. It backs up the same as physical tape. So integrating this in with your current IBM iPower system is really simple. The virtual tape solution, as you see here on a server or a VM environment, is really, in our case with our product, is software. So this software emulates either a tape device or a tape library. Then we also are going to talk about replication, so that these vital storage backup solutions, there can be two of those, one at a production or DR site, another one at a production or DR site, and the ability to replicate those backups from one vital storage server to the other across a wide area network. So that's what our solution does, have this capability of copying your backups to another vital server at a DR location so that you have a second copy to recover. But you also have a way to back up your DR system. If you are doing a role swap and using your DR system for production, then you have the ability to perform backups on that data with a second vital server. So you can maximize storage by integrating any current storage that you have. So one of the things that's great about our VTL solution is the ability to use any disk storage that is available to you, whether that's a deduplication backup appliance that you're using to back up your other platforms, or it's SAN or NAS storage. So LaserVault gives you the ability to leverage existing storage or backup solutions to store your IBM I virtual tapes. So LaserVault becomes, in the case of Vital, it's your tape library or your tape device, but it's the gateway to the storage. We work with many different solutions for backup, Rubrik, Cohesity, Exagrid, several. Now, we also have our own built-in data deduplication, because when we talk about Rubrik and Cohesity, Exagrid, those solutions, they have the deduplication capabilities, which gives you a high compression. So we do have this. It's called bdup for our Vital solution. Replicate backups to cloud. So this is becoming more and more of a solution to replicate backups to cloud, because many companies are already doing this with other backups. So you can easily implement a replication to cloud storage with Vital or any of the other solutions that I've mentioned here to improve your data protection of your backups and the ability to recover from a data center loss or IBM loss. So we're going to take a look at how to use virtual tape in an IBM environment. So first, let's talk about what we see on the IBM side with LaserVault. Really simple. With this fiber channel connection to LaserVault Vital, we've got a tape library, TAP MLB V1, and a tape device, TAP V1. So this represents a connection from the IBM side to LaserVault, either SAS or fiber channel. One thing to note about fiber channel is that NPIV is available. So with one fiber channel connection to LaserVault, you can have up to 64 tape devices configured on your IBM That's a great thing to have, especially if you're backing up multiple partitions on your system and need multiple tape devices to share, or multiple tape libraries for each of the, or tape libraries for each of those partitions. So 64 virtual devices per fiber channel port in LaserVault, and that can be at an 8 gig speed, 16 gig speed, or 32 gig speed. Now, in addition, you also can have LaserVault emulate a tape device. So in this case, TAP V2 is a second, either the same fiber channel connection with NPIV or a second fiber channel connection, but this is demonstrating how that LaserVault can also emulate a tape device. This would be the case where you're using a physical tape device and you're simply replacing it with a virtual tape device. Gives you the ability to, if you don't want to use it, LaserVault as a tape library, because that's not what you're replacing. You're replacing a tape device. So we can set LaserVault up with you as a single tape device that you can use with any of the go save commands or go backup. So that's how LaserVault presents itself to the IBM Pretty simple. Then you have what we have is our LaserVault Vital web interface. So you want the ability in a VTL solution to configure your virtual tapes, adding those into the library, configuring how many slots you want in your virtual tape library if you're using it in that manner. Even if you're using it as a tape device, you would specify the number of slots that you want for all your daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly and yearly tapes. So you want a simple, easy interface to be able to go in and configure everything, to set it up, and then from that point on, you're using all your IBM backup commands, BRMS, robot save, to actually perform your backups. So I'm going to log in with a secured username and password. I'm just going to go ahead and go to libraries to kind of show you some of the configuration settings. Library 1 is over here to the left. That was the TAP MLB V1. That's library 1. Library 2 is just what I call this over here. We'll look at those in a minute. And that's the TAP V2 tape device. So let's take a look at some of the configuration settings. Simply name your tape library whatever you want, which corresponds to your inventory of tapes when you click on library 1 over here on the left. This is your library path. So this can either be SMB share, NFS share path, to storage, where LaserVault is just a gateway, and all of your virtual tapes and your backups are written to that SAN, that NAS, or that deduplication appliance that has storage for your backups. Or in this case, we have a server set up with LaserVault Vital with its own disk volume to store backups. Ultrium 5, we emulate Ultrium 2 all the way to Ultrium 8. None of these have a storage limit. So if your backup is 10 terabytes for a full system save, you can fit it all on an LTO2 tape, but typically you'd use like 5 or 8 as your emulation. These also do not correspond with backup speed. 2 is just as fast as 8, And again, none of them have a storage limit. So your full backup would always fit on one tape if that's what you're using. This is the number of storage slots I have set for this virtual tape library. This can go up to 16,000. I think it's like 16,350 virtual tape slots. And you can increase that number anytime that you want and go ahead and add in more tapes. Not something you can do with a physical tape library without buying a different one that has more slots. Now this part is pretty important for backup speed. When we talk about backup speed, we want to talk about it compared to physical tape. And one of the ways in which we go faster than physical tape, besides writing to disk, is faster than writing to tape. But we also have a multi-thread process called data block file count. It's currently set to 8. So when you're saving data from the IBM I system, we're writing the data to 8 files at the same time. So we're processing multiple files. We're taking advantage of multi-core processors that give us the ability to move that data quickly to disk through from the AS400 side. And that sweet spot is typically from 8 to 16 files for the fastest speed, where you can double the speed of your current physical tape backup speed. Another way to speed up backups is the write cache. That goes all the way to 24 meg. And these are just some things that when we help our customers set up their VTL solution is test a couple of backups with anywhere from 8 to 16 write cache to determine their fastest write speed during their backup, because we just want to go fast. Read cache, this is for restores. Compression, LaserVault comes automatically with a compression feature. So this is software compression that occurs during the backup, and it averages 5 to 1. So you'd want to take, if you're going to use LaserVault compression, you'd want to take your total backup retention tapes and the amount of data and come up with a raw amount of storage that you would need divided by 5 for 5 to 1 compression, and that give you an approximate idea of how much disk space would be required if using compression with LaserVault. Data deduplication. So this is, I get a lot of questions where is this kind of like saving changed objects? In a way it is. It's block level deduplication, and it occurs on the LaserVault server. So you just run your backups normally from BRMS, Robot, or the Go Save commands, and LaserVault will automatically save blocks with new and changed data for each backup. Blocks that have already been saved where the data is not new or changed, those do not get saved again. They only get saved one time. So this increases your compression. I would say the minimum is around 12 to 1 compression with dedupe. So compression with just standard compression option here, 5 to 1, and you're at least 12 to 1 on your production data with deduplication, and that could be much, much higher. It could be, as we have seen deduplication numbers as high as 40 to 1 compression. 40 to 1 compression. And this also, when we talk about the ability to replicate your backups to another server, if you're using deduplication or if you're using cloud storage as your replication target, this reduces the amount of data that you're copying across your internet connection. So it drastically reduces the amount of data that you're moving, that you're storing in cloud, reduces your cloud storage costs, and it also takes less time because you're replicating less data. There's also encryption with your encryption key, so data will be written during the backup, encrypted, compressed, and then when replicated, it will remain encrypted to the replication target. Replication and retention, I've got 3 different examples. 2 things you can do with these media sets is, number 1, set retention on certain volumes. Now, if you're using Robot Save or BRMS, those handle retentions and things like that with media policies. But you can set retentions with LaserVault to where you keep tapes over a certain amount of time. And that also includes includes virtual tapes that you replicate to cloud storage or to DR site or both, gives you the ability to set retentions on those second copy tapes, virtual tapes. And then, so also I've got two examples of replication: Microsoft Azure, Amazon S3, Wasabi's another one that you can use, that we've got the configuration settings built into LaserVault for those three cloud account options. And so this is just two other examples where instead of replicating to a second LaserVault server at a DR site, you can instead replicate to Amazon 3, Microsoft Azure, and you can actually do both. So you can set tape volumes to replicate to both. So you could actually have 3 copies of your backups. Now, when we talk about replication, what we've just talked about is replicating to disk at a DR site or replicating to cloud storage. But you can also replicate to tape, right? You can do dupe tape on the IBM I side to copy from LaserVault to a physical tape for your second copy. Dupe Media BRM, you can use that to replicate through BRMS and copy from virtual to physical tape. So if that's how you'd like to create your second copy, those can be done during the day, during regular business hours, to where you can perform dupe tapes or dupe media BRM without interfering with users on the system. So just some ways that you can create, and that's the thing about using physical tape, is that you really don't have 2 copies. Everybody just keeps one. But with going to virtual disk tape, you can easily create 2 copies, and it's an automated function to do replication to disk. And as long as there's a tape in a physical tape, you can certainly automate replicating from disk to tape. And we do have clients that have replicated from tape to disk and either eliminated those tape copies, or they kept them in storage or offsite, but they took their tapes and they replicated them over to disk and stored them there as well. Okay, so let's go through some of the things here where you have your library 1, and again, this represents TAP MLB V1 on the IBM I side. Here are all my slots with tapes created in those tape slots. So once you set this up for the number of slots, there's your drive up there, drive 1. That's the tape device, TAP V1. So you could, once you've got your slots here, they'll all be empty, and then you just go create with this button, and you put in your prefix. So you get 6 characters with your volume ID, just like a physical tape. So you want the ability to go ahead and create multiple tapes to put in those slots. You can go ahead and initialize those tapes so they're ready to go. And if you're using BRMS Robot Save, you would just use the same procedures to make those tapes available for daily, weekly, monthly rotations. So those tapes are actually going to reside on the library path. They'll be blank, they'll be initialized, ready to go to start running through backups. Now that you can have tapes, anytime you run a backup, it automatically loads the tape in the drive. Whether you're BRMS or robot, the tape gets automatically loaded into the drive, the save performs, and then it can automatically unload the tape back into the slot. Same goes true with restores. So say you're using BRMS, for example, you choose a library or object to restore. BRMS knows which volume that's on. That tape gets loaded automatically and the restore occurs. So this is an auto loading and unloading just like a physical tape library. And even as a tape device, you just say which volume you want to restore from, and that volume gets loaded into the tape drive. So if this was instead to network storage, SAN, NAS, deduplication appliance, This path simply shows where those tapes reside and where the backup data in those tapes is going to be stored and written to that storage. Some of the features, as I am logged in as administrator, I have the move, delete, export, protect, unprotect, and labels. So as administrator, I have all of these features. I can move a tape to a slot, manually move a tape into a drive. So if we have a full system save here, we need to demode IPL and restore the OS, license internal code, everything on that tape for a full system restore. We could go ahead and load that tape and move it into the drive and have it ready to go for the demode IPL. Delete a tape. Now, if a tape, LaserVault has protect and unprotect of a tape, just like you can protect and unprotect a physical tape, with the little tab deal. But this lets you do it through software, and we actually have commands on the IBM side to do protect and unprotect, so you can automate that feature. When the save is complete to the volume, go ahead and protect the tape, and that can be part of your backup process that's completely automated. The tape being protected means it cannot be deleted, it cannot be initialized, cannot be overwritten. And any other users that are logged in can be restricted to where they can or cannot use the unprotect and protect feature on a virtual tape, and it can't be deleted by that particular login. A cool little feature here is you can click on labels and see the libraries that are in the save, the sequence, and the amount of disk space that library is using. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about more in terms of LaserVault backup speeds compared to physical tape. So we can go all the way up to LTO9 at 400 megasecond and beat it at 850 megasecond. So quite a bit faster. So our clients are experiencing much faster backup speeds with virtual tape saving to disk compared to physical tape. So a big time bonus, and one of the primary reasons to go to VTL is the backup speed compared to LTO tape, and even recovering. So if you always have your tapes available, this also gives you a really good audit of your backup because everything's available. Everything's available for auditors to review in terms of what backups you're keeping, your retentions of your backups, and that they're available in case you have a disaster in your data center where you lose your IBM system, that you have replicated copies of your backups, you have a record of the times that you replicated tapes, and you have a way to show that you have both tapes in production to restore from in case you need that data, and then also tapes that have been replicated in which those are off-site for disaster recovery and can be restored from in case they're needed. So incorporating virtual tape is really has become essential for our clients to automate their backup processes, eliminate tape, the handling of tape, and making the back and also protecting the data even better than tape because the fact that you can create multiple copies. So we're going to help you get shorter backup windows, faster recovery, data protection, just basically increase the confidence and the ability to keep your business in business in case of a disaster, because these backups can become critical, any kind of data loss on your system or data center loss, and giving you the ability to recover quickly when someone needs a file, when someone needs a library object. It's really at your fingertips here because all your tapes are available to do restores. Okay, so there's some handouts in our in the GoToWebinar panel that you're welcome to download and take a look at. There's a sizing questionnaire that we can use to get you a customized quote for software, software with server, storage, deduplication, um, whatever it is that you're looking to do and to implement a VTL solution to make it super cost effective. That's what we can help you do with the sizing questionnaire. Just give you some idea of what your initial investment would be. Data sheet, some testimonials in there to download, and also I'd like to offer you guys a chance to do a one-on-one demo with us so we can get familiar with your IBM I environment. Ask some questions on how we could best configure a solution for you in terms of what you need for fiber channel connectivity or SAS connectivity, what in terms of hardware that you would like to provide. That's one of the things about our product is that it is not an appliance that you've got to spend a ton of money on and then it'd be obsolete and then obsolete in 3 or 5 years, and or your maintenance goes way up, or you need to replace it with a new expensive appliance. Our solution is a Windows-based solution, so it can be on a server using any storage that you want in a VM scenario. Although for VM, there's some requirements for that we can discuss in a demo, and then after the demo, we can send you a $50 Amazon gift card for participating in a demo, and we would send that to you via email. But we'd love to talk to you about your environment to see how we could help you. Okay, so I want to thank everyone for spending time with me today. We are doing a drawing for Beats Bluetooth earbuds, so the winner will be notified via email. Feel free to contact us if you'd like to go ahead and schedule that demo with us. Info@laservault.com. Extension 1001 is my direct extension, and you're welcome to give me a call. And if you have some questions, there is also a way to ask questions in the GoToWebinar panel there. If you want to type in any questions to ask me, I can wait here for about a minute or so because we're a little bit past our time. Okay, so thanks everyone for attending, and please let us know if we can help answer some questions for you on a VTL solution for your IBM I. Thanks everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.